Okay, so today is sort of a vlog. I'm going to be heading over to Best Buy because I don't really need, but I really want to get a mouse for my work setup, which is sort of right over here. So over here is the dock that I sort of covered in my last video. And by the way, you can click the card to see more about that. But these are two Lenovo monitors I picked up on a Memorial Day sale from Best Buy. They were $70 each, and they're both 1080p, 21.5 inches. They were pretty steep discount, even if you're shopping around elsewhere on the internet. Down here I have my Logitech K120. That's not going anywhere because I love those things. They are so cheap. They're like $12. I'll leave a link down below as well for that. But also over here we have a wired G.Skill mouse, and that's going to be replaced hopefully with a wireless Logitech gaming mouse. Hopefully the G602, but we'll see what Best Buy has to offer when we get there. I just honestly don't really like a lot about this mouse. It's just sort of strange to hold. I'm constantly clicking these buttons accidentally. It's actually a decent mouse for tracking and that sort of thing. It's just that I just don't like the form factor of it. I don't like the way it fits my hands. And frankly, I hate G.Skill software that goes with it. So I'm going to replace this thing. Plus, the mouse I'm replacing it with will probably be permanently at work next fall in this basically exact setup. The only difference being that I'll have my work laptop driving it and not my gaming laptop. So let's run off to Best Buy and see what we can find. Decisions. They're actually both this price. So what do I get? So, fun fact, Best Buy does price match, and they price match against their own website. So, it was listed, and I mentioned this just a minute ago, but this was listed as like $79 or something like that, and the price match was something like $44.99. So, yeah, they had to have a manager come over and price check their own website. So, that's fun. I'm going to get home and let my dog out, and then this thing unboxed. So, unlike unbox therapy, my Jack is real. This is Jack. Hello, Jack. Let's go out on a walk. Shall we go on a walk? I think we should. What do you think? Yep. So here we are at home, and now I am going to just go ahead and unbox this thing. I haven't touched it yet, so these are just going to be sort of my first thoughts and maybe a little bit of an overview. Okay, so first off is the fact that I hate Logitech's packaging, at least the box part of it. The inside part of it is actually okay in that it has this nice little tray with obviously the mouse and the wireless receiver, because this is a wireless receiver operating at 500 hertz. So we're going to set this part aside for a minute. And to get to the rest of the contents, they just fall out. So this is sort of a nice little addition. So I'm not sure how long this cord is, but all this is an extension for the wireless receiver in case your computer is at a point that is not really getting good reception. You can plug this into your computer, set this on your desk, which this part sits flat and doesn't look half bad. But then you just plug your receiver into that end and you can get your receiver closer to the mouse, which theoretically, of course, gives you better performance of the mouse itself. Cool. And of course, documentation, warranty information, that sort of thing. But that's all that's in the box: the extension, information, and the mouse and receiver itself. So my first sort of impression of this mouse is that it is a large mouse. And I mean, I don't have huge hands.
Looking at you, Trump.
But even so, here's just sort of a comparison. The size between the G900 and the G602 is not a whole lot different, except the G602 is a fair bit wider feeling than the G900, and maybe that's just my perception, or what's really probably likely is that it's this thumb rest that's sort of tripping me up versus the G900, which obviously does not have that thumb rest. So that's sort of a quick side-by-side comparison. And then of course a comparison to the mouse it's replacing, which is a much shorter mouse, and sort of in my grip style has my palm hanging off the end of it, whereas the G602, there's much less hangover from my palm, especially when I'm moving it around like I normally will be. And of course, the big selling point for me with the G602 was how many different macro buttons you have. There are, I believe, 11 programmable buttons, which I'm sure include the left, right click, the middle click, and then there are 6 G keys on the left side of it, as well as a couple more just left of the left click that allow you to really have a lot of customization for a lot of different games, or in my case, productivity. Things like I'm sure I'll have a macro for Control S for save or Control P for print, those sort of things, which will just sort of make my workflow a little bit more efficient with this mouse. Now, unlike mice like the G900 here, this wireless mouse does not plug in to be recharged. You'll notice there is no micro USB port here. Instead, it goes back to the old school AA battery solution. Now, unlike a lot of mice though, this solution uses two AA batteries, but you can use the mouse with only one AA battery inserted at a time. So if you either think the mouse is too heavy, or maybe you just have one battery laying around and you can't find another fully charged battery or even partially charged battery, you can operate this mouse with just one battery instead of two, which is sort of nice to have that extra flexibility. Also, props to Logitech for giving us Duracell batteries instead of random no-name batteries. So good job there. So the last couple of features here is that this mouse does come with an endurance mode as well as a performance mode, which would probably be the mode you'd want to use for gaming. But the endurance mode gives you up to 250 hours of battery life, at least according to Logitech. And by the way, I probably won't be testing that just because it would take so long to actually test that claim. But that switch is just behind the scroll wheel. And also on the bottom side, there is an on-off switch for the mouse. So those are basically the features of the G602. Right now on Amazon, you can find it for about $45. On Best Buy's website, it's also about $45. I'll leave a link in the description below in case you're interested in picking this mouse up. At least at the $45 price point, I think it's probably going to be a pretty good value. I am going to edit this video using this mouse instead of my G900, and I'm also going to go ahead and probably do a streaming test at some point, probably the same day that you see this video posted, just to sort of test out how I like this mouse gaming versus the G900, which for my money, at least as far as I'm concerned, is probably the best wireless gaming mouse on the market right now. So if you like this content, give me a like, share, subscribe, and comment down below and tell me if you own the G602, what do you think of this mouse, or what other wireless mice do you think match the G602 or even the G900 for that matter. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware. They are the same tag for your convenience. And lastly, we'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.